Hi, my name is Julia. Welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a pick a card reading, and today's reading we are doing who you were in a past life. So yes, this is an Akashic record reading. I am going to be going not necessarily into your most recent past life, but I'm going to be asked to be shown your most significant past life. So we're hoping to maybe see if we could spot some patterns or things that will be important that might help you to understand certain things that have happened in this life, because it is my belief that we tend to be cyclical, like in our lessons and experiences, and it kind of just helps to bring some understanding. I always love these readings. I find them fascinating and very interesting, so I'm excited to do this for you guys today, wherever you're watching. So we have 5 piles, so let me go ahead and show you the piles. Right here we have pile 1. I don't know if this lighting does this shell justice, but just so you guys know, it is absolutely gorgeous. Like this whole little circle right here looks like it's opalescent. It's like a big snail shell. It's probably a better name for it. I don't know what it is, but anyways, I love shells. So this is pile 1 with this beautiful shell. Okay, and then for pile 2, these are my favorite shells. I brought them out for this reading. Pile 2, I just went blank on the name of this kind of shell too. A lot of people use them in, jewelry and stuff, on certain bracelets and necklaces. But yeah, this is, well, I use normally like the smaller ones, but this is for pile 2. This one's pretty cool too. It has a lot of really cool patterns and designs on it. Yep, pile 2. Pile 3, we have this shell. Got a really cool spiral up here. Beautiful shell. A little hair on it. It's pile 3. Pile 4, we have this conch shell. Really cool. It's almost in perfect tact. Like there's no part of it broken. These are my favorites. Okay, so pile 4. And last but not least, we have another really cool snail shell. This is pile 5. Now this one doesn't have as much of the opalescence on it, but the parts where it does have it, like right here, I'm just not sure this lighting will do it justice, because it's got beautiful blues, pinks, and purples that shine through. Really gorgeous. So that's pile 5. As per usual, timestamps will be in the description and in the comments. So I look forward to seeing you at your pile. So I just want to say thank you for coming. And if you haven't yet, I hope you will feel called to like and subscribe. Definitely would love to see you here again. And quick little update. I am trying to get the private readings up and running this week, within the next couple days. As soon as I have it all figured out, I will definitely update the channel. So yeah, I will see you guys at your piles. Hi, pile 1. If you chose this shell, pile 1, this is your reading, and we are looking at one of your most significant past lives. Taking a little look in the Akashic records here. I'm definitely seeing some patterns right here in the cards that I just laid out for you, pile 1. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, in this incarnation, whether you are a male or female now, but in this incarnation that I'm seeing, I believe you were a female, okay? I believe that this incarnation happened in a time where there was a war going on, where you were living. I don't necessarily think it was actually in the area or the country that you were living in, but I believe that your country where you lived was in some kind of war. I believe that you were either married or to be married, and I believe that the partner that you were with was called off to war. I believe that you did not want this person, your partner, to leave. I think this was very hard for you. I believe that it happened suddenly, whether, I don't know if this was like maybe they were drafted, or it was just all of a sudden they had to leave and they had to go. But with this journey and high honor coming out in reverse, I believe this person was called out to leave. And I believe this happened very sudden. I believe this was very hard for you. I believe it was like the feeling of like with this air sign in reverse of not wanting them to go, expressing to them that you didn't want them to go. I believe that also with the journey in reverse, yeah, it's feeling like this person never made it back. So the energy I'm really feeling a lot of here is a period of where it was really heavy, where you were waiting for this person to return. It was a feeling of, you know, never getting to say goodbye to somebody. It was a feeling of waiting on somebody to return. It was a feeling of having no closure. These might be also similar themes that you see have possibly played out in this lifetime. Not necessarily the war part, but very well it could be. But I'm feeling it was more the feeling of waiting for somebody to return and not wanting them to have left and not having closure. With hostilities, contract, and the thinking woman, it's giving the feeling of maybe whether, especially with the thinking woman here and seeing the butterfly right there, it's a big feeling of not wanting to think about whether, you know, always wonder like every day it being so heavy on your mind, what was going on with this person? Were they okay? Are they okay? What happened to them? Hoping that nothing horrible happened, wanting them to return, waiting for them to return, trying to not think about if something horrible had happened to them, being very worried. And then here with truth and universe, that would be like judgment and the world. Yes, it's a big feeling of almost wondering if this person got like captured, a prisoner of war, wanting the war to be over. Here we have the Chariot and the Lovers. There's a lot of I think there was a lot of everyday, like almost like a daydream, a fantasy of waiting for this person to return home to you, waiting for this person to come back, waiting for this person to come back to you, waiting for this person to come so you guys could have your fresh new start your lives over, and this person could free you of this horrible stress of being stuck in your head all the time, wanting this to be a healed matter, wanting that, like hoping this person could find their way home. But I feel that it very much was something that tormented your mind. There was a lot of heartbreak behind this, of not knowing what had happened. Never really fully being able to come together with this person. I feel during this time, you possibly even might have turned to some kind of escapism, like drinking or something, to try to heal the pain of this, after some amount of time of this person not coming back. I feel you really even tried to convince this person not to go. I feel there was a real feeling of this person being a perfect match, especially with the first card coming out being marriage. There's a really good chance you guys were married, but if not, it's the feeling of this is probably a soulmate connection that has cycled into this life. I feel possibly too, because there was this feeling of unfinished business, heartache, longing from this past life, that of being separated and taken from somebody who there was such a strong connection to. I'm hearing from my spirit guides, perhaps there is a connection in this, whether you're a male or female in this incarnation. I'm hearing from my spirit guides that I believe there is something to do with this being, you probably have a past life soulmate who you've come across in this life. You probably have a good idea who this is that I'm speaking of. I believe that this is somebody that you guys were torn apart in this past life. So in this life, there's a lot of feelings of familiarity. There's a lot of feelings of fear of losing this person. There's probably a lot of tests of like longing for somebody and learning how to be, I feel, this might sound a little harsh, but whole maybe on your own. And I'm not saying that you won't come together with this person in this life. You might already be together with this person, but it's a feeling of, like as my spirit guides are showing me, of possibly not feeling like you need this person to be whole. And learning how in the absence of this person to not possibly want to, I'm hearing escapism, like to escape or get away or do anything that would be hurtful or damaging to you. I feel there was a lot of mental torment you went through behind waiting for this person. I feel it was really harsh on you. I feel you love this person very deeply. I don't want to just close it out like that. Let me just ask the Holy Spirit really quick if they have any. Holy Spirit, is there any guidance or advice before I close out this message for my pile 1? Can you give me guidance or clarity or advice for what they should do with this message? Oh, okay. One more, please. Two. A bunch came out. Well, I'm going to take them to the usual. Okay, 1 second. Give me just 1 second, pile 1. Okay, I think I see it. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is they're saying is to continue, like the message behind this, the lesson behind this is about continuing to work on yourself and work on your life regardless of if you hear from this person or not, to continue working and manifesting. If it's like something about not driving yourself crazy. Sometimes to have to accept things and make things happen in your life and not driving yourself crazy. Because I see that you have a high spirit, you have a lot of high spiritual knowledge, and to let something like this, it's like wanting to go back to. It's like it's the feeling of almost betraying yourself by letting something like this end you in a way. Not end you like you died, but it's like you let this be where you didn't let yourself go any further. Oh, because it was something about what it did to your mind, always going back to your mind and letting it tear you apart. But things will come together for you. The truth always will come to you. Intuitively, you know the truth. And things come together for you as long as you maintain the ability to not let yourself go. Okay, pile 1, that is what I have for you. That's a little bit of an intense, deep reading. These readings normally are. But I feel that the main thing they wanted to show me here is that you were somebody who had an incredible connection with somebody. I feel that you were a very attractive, beautiful person. I feel you had found somebody who was the perfect match for you, but an unfortunate circumstance tore you two apart. And it's almost like the rest of your life you let go after that. So there might be a theme that has recycled into this lifetime of not losing yourself behind somebody, even regardless if you know you're meant to be with that person or not. That is what I'm hearing from my spirit guides. I hope this resonated and made some kind of sense. I really hope I will see you guys in another reading. And that's all I have for you today, pile 1. Hi, pile 2. If you chose this reading, pile 2, if you chose this reading. If you chose this shelf, pile 2, this is your reading. Oh, Venus is coming. My cat is coming. Are you guys that pile? She might come up here and do the reading with me. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Go come say hi. Come say hi to everybody. Say hi, baby. Hi. I love you. Oh, babe. Oh, babe. Okay. Sorry. Venus wanted to make her cameo appearance for you guys. Okay, so pile 2. Hi, how are you? So we are looking at one of your most significant past lives. Now, I want to say is whether you're male or female in this life, in this past incarnation, I believe you were a male. I believe you were a male, and I believe there was some deep, deep, deep struggles that you underwent that brought you to some kind of a liberation or like spiritual awakening. And so I'm guessing that's probably one of the biggest themes that's probably recycled or repeated into this lifetime that I'm feeling. I feel there was a situation where somebody like a parent or a grandparent who I believe had probably it feels like something went wrong with an inheritance. It feels like something that was supposed to get left to you or was promised to you didn't. You might have even come from a wealthy family. That could be, or it doesn't have to be a theme that was in this life, but it's the feeling of, oh, she's playing with her toys. I'm sorry if there's any distractions. Hi, baby. It's okay, mama girl. I love you. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is, though, in this specific incarnation, I'm seeing, I believe you are a male. I believe you had either been told or were expecting some kind of inheritance, and something I feel went wrong, whether it was stolen from you or something, but it's something that it's almost like, I feel like you knew you were going to be taken care of. You were supposed to have been taken care of even after a certain person who I feel gave you some kind of a material resources or wealth, or I feel like you were kind of a very well-kept person in this incarnation, and I feel that you knew that things were going to be left to you, but something went wrong. I don't know if something was stolen from you, if there was some kind of loophole, or there was a fallout between you and a certain maybe parental figure that because of that, you know, something wasn't left you, but something happened where with unexpected income in reverse and then despair, something happened where it's almost like I feel like you went from having, I know this sounds kind of crazy, but you know they say rags to riches, but it almost feels like the other way around, riches to rags. It's almost like a feeling of losing somebody and then having like no material resources or money anymore, having to all of a sudden fend for yourself. Also here with deception and envy in reverse, and rest and rejuvenation in reverse, the garden and the gate, blossoming abundance in reverse, adjacent possibilities, and 4th chakra archangel Raphael. Yes, this is definitely a feeling of something very unexpected took place. It feels like you're very well kept. It feels like you're very used to having a lot of the nicer, finer things. I feel that it's possible that there was also another party or person involved who might have done something very sneaky and deceptive that caused you to not get a certain, it's almost like a rite of passage, inheritance, something that would have, right, it's like how, it's like the feeling of how this is how things are done, this is how it goes, this is how it gets passed down generation to generation. And it's a feeling of, with that, they said adjacent possibilities, it's almost like your whole world got turned around like that, like everything changed. But I definitely feel this was something that was divinely orchestrated for you in this incarnation to help to open up your heart. There was a big spiritual purpose behind this happening. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, 7 of Wands upright. Yes. It's like you were stripped. It's almost like, you know, like in they say like the dark night of the soul, where it's like all of a sudden you're losing everything. It's like you went from it's like, I think, being very well kept, very well taken care of, to losing everything and having, you know, look at the picture. You know, in this incarnation, I do feel you are a male, but, you know, look at how this female is in this picture. She's working. It's that feeling of toil and labor. It's like you were left to fend for yourself, to having to work to get by. You know, that paycheck to paycheck feeling, like having all, you know, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It's like having all these things that were like almost handed to you, having a really, well, maybe not handed to you, but, you know, being very well taken care of, and then not anymore. And then it's going into the Hermit and the Hierophant. It's a feeling of, this brought you, though, it's like all of a sudden feeling like you had nothing and no one, and having to start from scratch. And it forced you to go inward. It forced you to have an awakening to a higher calling. I think you became very, very reclusive. I think you really did a lot of spiritual, what's the word I want to use? Introspection, of wonder, like what, you know, what is the meaning of this? I think you did actually do the work and went within and found that there was more to life than material goods. I feel that you, in your reclusivity, you turned away from a lot of people. You had no need. It's like you reached a point of not wanting to fight over what happened, not wanting to seek any kind of revenge, not even wanting to say anything to the person about it. You just didn't want any problems. I think you reached a point in your spiritual evolution where you realized that making the sacrifice of the ego was the way to win and have the happiness to move forward. I think in this life you were forced to learn a lot of patience, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of shedding and letting go of things that it's not once felt like you just were entitled to. It's not even a feeling of entitlement. It was just a feeling of being so used to having certain things, certain commodities, certain things that were, you know, living well, all of a sudden taken from you, and then learning to come to an acceptance and be okay with that, and find a lot of happiness in your heart and a lot of content in your heart. There's a beeping out there. I don't know what it is. But yeah, there was a lot of spirituality and a lot of heart healing that came from this. It was, especially with this garden and the gate here, you know, how she's sitting there looking out, wondering if there's anything more. Is it what was on the horizon? This is like giving me the feeling of like ever since a kid being so well kept and not really knowing what it was like to survive and live in the world, but then having the rug just ripped out from under your feet and being forced to go into that. Everything that you had become so accustomed to, everything that you knew was taken from you. I feel that it was like the feeling of like, with this honeymoon here, it's like the honeymoon was over. I know this might sound a little harsh, but like the free ride was over. And it's not that you're expecting the free ride. I think it's just how you're brought up, what you always knew. So I'm feeling that in this life there might be, I'm hearing from my guides, one of the repeating lessons and cycles might be the art of detachment, of learning in this lifetime how to not be too attached to anything. I have a feeling in this lifetime you've probably, on more than one occasion, like almost like lost a lot, or if not everything, and had to start over from scratch. I feel that from this lifetime, you've carried in this lifetime of knowing that there's more to life than just the material gains, the material resources. I think you know how to get those things and make it happen, but you also know how to not attach yourself to it. I think that in order to finish off and master this lesson, and your soul's evolution is in this life, like to polish it off and completely be done with this round of lessons of detachment and letting things go. There's probably been multiple occasions where you've lost things, or things that were promised to come to you never came in, and you being at a place where you learn to come to a full acceptance of like, hey, it's okay, I'm not going to let this completely tear me apart. So yes, very intense. I think you're a highly spiritually evolved person. I think in this lifetime of having such an extreme contrast of opposites, of going from like, hey, having everything and then just having it taken from you and having to start from the ground up, and like learning to let go of the attachment to material things. I think you had a great high spiritual evolution. I think it made you very, very spiritual. Yeah, I mean, look at with that Hanged Man. I just, like, my guides keep just highlighting the halo right here. There was just so much wisdom that was gained in this lifetime. I think that in this lifetime you came in being already very highly evolved. You're just wise beyond your years, probably from a very young age. So I hope that helped. This is what I am seeing for you in the most significant recent life. This is what they showed me. I hope you feel called to like and subscribe. This is what I have for you today, pile 2. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this shell, pile 3, this is your reading. We're taking a look at one of your most significant past lives. So welcome. Okay, so I just laid the cards out and a bunch of different cards jumped out. So I am going to tell you what things I'm seeing and what themes I'm seeing. And there are some similarities a little bit to pile 2, but also quite different. So in this life, for some of you, you could have been a female. For others of you, you could have been a male. Whereas in the last 2 piles, I really got distinctive if it was a male or female. For a lot of you, I feel a good possibility you were a female. But it is possible, I feel some of you could have been a male in this previous incarnation, regardless of whether you're a male or female in this one. I feel in this past life, there was a lot of extremes. I feel there's a lot of extreme ups and downs. You know that saying, easy come, easy go? It's that kind of feeling. I feel that there was a lot of huge blessings and a lot of huge losses. It felt like a lot of unexpected, like out of nowhere, a lot of unexpected things would come to you, and then out of nowhere, unexpectedly, a lot of things would be taken and lost. We have, sudden wealth in reverse, gift in reverse, and then unexpected income upright. So I'm feeling there was a lot of things that, it's like all of a sudden you'd have it, and then the next minute you didn't. I feel one of the key themes here in this lifetime that probably I'm hearing carried out into this lifetime is learning to go with the flow, to be in a flow state of acceptance, of learning to just keep going with it regardless of what happens, and learning a lot of patience, learning to step into your power. I believe in this incarnation, you did have a soulmate, and I believe you guys actually did come together. I'm not sure, it's not showing me too much of if you guys got to stay together for a very long time, but with 6 of Cups and spiritual union on the board, it definitely does feel like there was a soulmate presence there. And for that to be coming up in this reading, I feel that probably there is somebody in this incarnation currently who is a soulmate. You probably have a past life soulmate connection in this life as well. I feel there was big lessons in patience, a lot of lessons in learning how to fend for yourself with Archangel Michael. He was always with you then, he's always with you now. And also you have another Archangel on the board with Archangel Raphael. A lot of learning to have heart healing, and to learn to, roll with the punches and not let it affect who you are at a core level, to change your heart or turn your heart cold. I feel that there was many times where you could not count on friends in this incarnation, where learning how to have patience and step into your power without being able to rely on a lot of external sources or friends. That's probably a theme that's recycled into this life as well. Yeah, here we go. It's like door to value, hostilities, yin yang in reverse, magician in the mirror, and indecision. Yes, yes. So it's like there seems to be, there's a lot of like, it almost probably feel like trickery, like now you have it, now you don't, now you see it, now you don't, now you have a lot of money, and now it's like learning how to maintain your balance when things, even though it's like I know most people think of like wanting to maintain their balance after taking a loss, like, okay, well, I've got to stay balanced, but also people have a hard time too sometimes maintaining their balance after they receive a blessing. It's like really easy to go off the deep end, like, oh yeah, I just got all this money, I'm not worried, I don't have to do this, and blah, 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 people go crazy with it. I think that was a theme that would happen for you then. I think there was also a theme of learning how to not worry. Learning to not let things stress you. There's a lot of feeling of learning to be just be an acceptance of things for what they were. A lot of new beginnings and a lot of new endings. It was like there was just a lot of extremes. Like one minute was this way, and then just like that unexpectedly the next minute. And it was almost like learning to recognize the cycles that would happen in your life, even though there's a lot of things that happened unexpectedly. Like, there with this coming out first message of concern, it's like everything's going good, and then all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, everything's bad. And then after a period of everything being hard, unexpectedly out of nowhere, boom, here comes unexpected income, just out of nowhere. It's like, boom, now all of a sudden this came out of nowhere. It's giving a lot of heavy feeling of the presence of like Uranus, a lot of things that were just unpredictable. There's a lot of unpredictable things that happened. And this card, Give It Time, down here, what's sticking out to me and with intuitively is where it says everything in divine timing, let it flow. Just learning to be in acceptance. I feel there's a lot of situations in this specific lifetime where you would have these windows of opportunity that were open to you. It's like during times where it felt like, where it's almost like you felt like your hands were tied, or that there was no way out of a situation, like you were just stuck. Somehow you were able to find a way of turning that situation into a window of opportunity of making something happen, if that makes sense. There's a feeling of, even though a lot of people might not have been really nurturing or kind to you, you learned how to tend your own garden, and that's how you were able to step back into your own power. There's a feeling of when it was all finally said and done in this lifetime, I do believe you had a family. I believe you were happy. I believe that you learned to find stability and happiness regardless of if anybody was giving you love and support. And I'm not saying that there was no love and support, but there was a lot of things that feel like came and left, like, ups and downs, a lot of extremes. And so learning how to fill your own cup when there was nobody giving to you love or support. Also with, judgment in reverse next to justice upright. What I'm getting is that, like, what a lot of people didn't have repentance for the things they did or didn't do, I guess we'll say, or the way they didn't show up. It feels like there's a lot of people who didn't show up like they should have showed up, especially with judgment coming out next to the Page of Pentacles in reverse. It feels like a lot of people didn't show up like they were supposed to. But with justice, your justice was learning how to maintain balance and continue to make solid footsteps forward and keep going, to ensure that you didn't miss any opportunities. It's like you knew what you wanted, and whether other people showed up like they were supposed to or not, you just had to learn to keep going. Even whether, things all of a sudden just fell apart, were taken, you just had to learn to keep going. And, when things were really bad and all of a sudden you got a blessing, to learn to keep going and not just rely on that. It's almost like the feeling of learning how to know that nothing was ever truly permanent. And so you have to always be prepared and makes like a lot of solid, like always be prepared for the unexpected, because the unexpected was the expected for you. And that's what I'm feeling here. Also, the feeling too of learning to, you learn to it's like to drop, it's like the burden of wanting to do everything on your own and accept help and work with others. When you were able to get help, and it was help you, it was like the feeling of learning how to not carry all the burdens on your own, but also maintaining balance and learning how to step into your own power and how to let go when it was necessary to let go. the key themes I'm seeing in this life was there was just a lot of extremes of things that would just come, like all of a sudden huge blessings, and then it would be good for a while, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere a lot of unexpected, like boom boom, out of nowhere everything would be gone. And just learning how to stay in that flow, learning how to accept help when you know you needed to, when you could when there was people who were there to help, how to work with other people, but also learning how to be in your own power on your own. And when all these unexpected things happen, how to not let it take over your mind. So that's what I'm seeing here. These are probably, if this is resonating, then these are probably common themes that have played out in this incarnation as well. If none of this resonated, I would suggest to pick another pile. But this is really about a lot of extremes. It's like big, major gains and major losses, and then just learning how to stay in the flow and keep going. Okay, so that's what I have for you today, pile 3. If you feel called to, please like and subscribe. I would definitely love to see you here again. I'm going to take it to pile 4. Hi, pile 4. If you chose this shell, pile 4, this is your reading. We're looking into one of your most significant past lives. So welcome. Okay, so I just laid the cards out and I'm seeing some themes here. And I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing, and we'll see if, hopefully you can see if some of these common themes or lessons behind the lessons kind of played out in this life as well. Maybe they did. So you could, in this, regardless of whether you are a male or female, in this previous incarnation that I'm seeing, I feel because of, there's different, for, this is a collective read basically. Some of you could have been a male, some of you could have been a female, but I'm getting more female vibes. So in this incarnation that I'm looking at, I feel you could have been a female, but it doesn't have to be. Some of you could have been a male. There's only been like 2 piles so far that really distinctly felt like whether it was male or female. But this one, it could be a split. So I feel that what I'm seeing in this life is you were somebody who was actually had a very solid foundation. You had a very happy home, a nice home. You had a lot of good things going for you. You were very well off, I'll say. I don't know if I would go so far as saying rich, but possibly rich, but it feels like at least very well off. I feel that you had a spouse, probably were married, and I believe something happened to your spouse. Maybe could have been possibly they were in some kind of authority or military maybe, and that something happened, and it feels like perhaps that your partner, passed away. Feels like you had somebody who was, it feels even that your partner was like a soulmate to you, and you guys had a very happy home and a happy family and a lot of good things going for you. Were doing very well, and this person suddenly passed. It could have been on the job, or something just happened that was, but something, I feel like that they suddenly passed away, and I feel like there was this was very hard for you, being separated from this person, but I feel this person was still constantly around you as like a guardian spirit, and I feel what happened here is what I feel like I'm seeing is that possibly not too long after this person departed from your life, that another second soulmate came along. And a lot of people gave you a hard time about this. There was a lot, it feels like there was a lot of judgment. A lot of people looked down on it. I feel that you didn't understand why you were able to feel so connected to another person after everything that had happened. Oh God, I just seen a silhouette right there. It's okay. It's nothing bad. But I feel like that's confirmation that this is, for whose pile this is, yeah. That, anyways, that you had, it's almost like a second soulmate came in. So and it feels like in this incarnation, you actually came in to contact with 2 soulmates. One who you already had a very strong foundation, happy home with, and suddenly they departed. And while that I feel was very hard for you, I feel that person was still around you, and I feel that a second soulmate came along, and you didn't understand why you were able to connect to this person. I think that you and this person had a very fierce, passionate heart connection immediately, and I feel a lot of people were very judgmental of this. I feel that this person, the second soulmate, was maybe not as well off as you, and I feel a lot of people judged you, and I feel a lot of people looked down on it, and a lot of people, I think, were trying to say that this person didn't really care for you, that they were probably just basically maybe trying to use you for money because you were more well off than them. And I feel this was really hard for you, and that you didn't want, there is almost like the feeling of, oh, but it's like the feeling of not understanding how you were able to fall for somebody else while you still loved your partner who passed, and that there was a lot of judgment from a lot of people about this. A lot of people, I think, tried to say like, oh, this person isn't right for you. This is like maybe like a, almost like a gold digger, or whether it was a man or a woman, that this person didn't have money. They're just, basically a womanizer or a man-eater, and they're just using you. But at the same time, you felt very much that this person was, it was hard because it's like internally you felt very drawn and connected to this person. But there was just a lot of disapproval around this connection. There was a feeling of almost like people getting into your head so much that it did almost make you question, like, oh God, can I trust this person? Should I be trying to keep this connection a secret because everyone's judging and looking down and is against this connection? And it just became too much of a burden, it feels, at some point to carry, and you didn't want to have to juggle the two lifestyles at some point, and it was very hurtful for you because you felt very, it almost feels like, due to the circumstances, it was like being a victim of circumstances of like, well, I can't keep doing this, hiding back and forth and trying to do what was right, what everyone else told you was right, and so choosing to stay to yourself and with all your material things, and not choosing that second soulmate in the end, even though it felt like being with that person was very healing and a part of your destiny. So what I'm feeling from this is how this would play out in this life, because I feel like I can feel some of you being like, no, it doesn't feel like me. But what I feel how these themes will play out, if this is indeed your pile, is that there's probably themes of being judged and guilt-tripped for the people who you feel drawn or chosen, people who you feel very drawn to, people who you feel are a soulmate. It's almost the feeling of it, and this can go, energy is very fluid. This could be vice versa. It could also be the feeling of, okay, and Spirit's telling me right now to also add that with Guardian and Door to Spirit here, the first soulmate in this incarnation, I just have to add this, that passed and went on, was always with you the whole time, and that they were very understanding, especially from being on the other side, what was going on. They were with you. They wanted you to have love and happiness, that all of the other judgments was never from them. It was really just from other people who were still alive. You know what I mean? Because I do believe too that we do have multiple soul connections. I do believe, even for the people who want to go for the whole, twin flame, it's like, let's just say if your twin flame was to pass, do you think that what they would want was for you to it's truly your other half of your soul? Do you think once I'm gone, I want this person to be alone and sad forever? No. When you love someone truly, when you truly love someone, it is unconditional. It is unconditional. You dissolve your own self into the love of wanting that person to be happy and hey, if I'm not here, I want to know that you're still happy and taken care of. And I feel like that's what that first soulmate was. I think you guys had something so beautiful. I think it was so hard when they first left that it was hard for you to understand or accept, like, especially at first, how could you start to feel for someone else and feel so connected to someone else? And there was really a lot of harsh judgments behind it. So like I was saying, in this incarnation, I think the themes that come up is probably there might have been cycles or connections in your life where you might have been judged for being in those connections. You might have felt like there was connections you had to hide or choose, like doing things the right way or choosing to be with this person. Wondering, is this person just using me? There might have been times where you came into multiple soulmates. Some of you might have even had a soulmate at one point or another in this life who passed, and you know that you can still feel them around you. Those would be like key factors that this is your pile. I feel like in this life, what Spirit is pointing out to me that the lesson would be is it's not to not choose a material life or a life of prosperity, but it would be to, it's like in that last life, it felt almost like towards the end, it feels like you almost felt like, in a sense, there was a lot of heartache, and like you felt almost like, this might sound weird, but like you betrayed yourself by not letting yourself be with who you wanted to be with. So that might be one of the lessons in this life, will you choose to decide to let yourself be with who you want to be with, regardless of other people's opinions, thoughts, or judgments. So, and also to learn to, almost, what am I hearing? Discern on your own, and not based off the other judgments or opinions of others of what is true and what is right for you. So that's what I have for you. I hope this resonated and made some kind of sense. If it didn't, you are always welcome to check out another pile. I hope you feel called to like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and take it to pile 5. Hi, pile 5. If you chose this shell, pile 5, this is your reading. We're looking at one of your most important past lives and the themes that played out in it. So, regardless if you are a male or female now, you could have been either also in this past life, but for a lot of you, I'm feeling in this past incarnation, I feel you are a male. I feel that something happened here. I feel that you had someone who felt like a soulmate connection in this life, and I feel like something happened where it feels like you felt like this was your destiny, this was your end-all be-all person that you were meant to be with, and that something happened where it feels like you felt like somebody stole this person from you in this incarnation, and it feels like that crushed you. You felt like your destiny had been stolen from you. It feels like it turned your whole world upside down to the point where you didn't know how to function. You were fighting a transformation, but you were forced through this. It's almost like it forced you into being alone to go within, but it was very hard for you. For a long time, you felt like your destiny was stolen from you. It feels like possibly whoever this person ended up with might have been a little more well off. Your energy almost was a little bit like, I know this might sound a little weird or harsh, but it's not meant that way. Like, they say like the tortured artist, like you are somebody who is very much in touch with your feelings, probably I feel very intuitive. I think you're a very intuitive person, somebody who's very empathic, very in touch with your feelings, even though I believe you are a male. Regardless if you're female or male now, some of you, I guess, could have been a female, but it's feeling like a male energy, but that you're very intuitive. And it's like, it just felt like it was really crushing for you, because it's almost like a big theme was learning how to find balance again, to continue to trust your intuition, feeling like, and stepping into your own healing powers, healer of all ages, by learning how to heal yourself and accepting the fact that the person who it felt like in your heart you knew you were meant to be with never came together. Woman holding a coin. upright man holding a coin in reverse. And that doesn't mean one was right or wrong by which one was up in reverse. It's just telling me like, it's like it didn't come together, because healer of all ages coming out between the two of those. Also, we have up here, let's see, yes, give it time and confession. Yeah, I feel like for a long time you waited for this person to come back, to confess their love, to make it right. I think this felt like you felt like you're, yeah, with this Wheel of Fortune, with the lightning strikes, and it's giving the Tower. It was like I feel this really shook up your whole world. I feel this person even might have even cut you off and refused to speak to you, and this was heartbreaking. Yeah, it threw your whole life off. Oh. Yeah, yeah, you had to learn how to, it was like feeling like something so sneaky, that there was such a deceitful betrayal that happened to you, and like your whole world was falling apart, and you were trying to hold on for dear life to what you still had going on, and trying to hold on to this person and their energy, and it was so painful for you. And I think that the big lesson or theme in this incarnation was learning how to heal from that, because you had so much to offer to so many people. You were so highly intuitive, had so many empathic abilities, and it was learning how to not lose yourself into someone else, because hey, when someone else is gone, right, what are you going to do? So it was learning how, a lot of it was learning how to hold on to yourself, learning how to not wait for that person to come back. It was learning how to reclaim your crown, your throne, and to not throw everything away, and to keep moving forward victoriously. At some point you might have felt like you were it's almost like the feeling of there was like an energetic like cord to this person. I feel like when you were with this person, it was probably a very passionate, very steamy connection, and it probably was a soulmate connection. But you know, I believe we have multiple soulmates, and I feel like in this connection it was learning that despite how well or great things might have been intimately, it doesn't mean that that's the person you were supposed to be with forever. I think there was a huge learning lesson in this about not losing yourself in someone else, and learning how to, when everything gets turned upside down, to not let yourself go, and to maintain a lot of being able to think logically, to still listen to your heart, to still listen to your intuition without turning too cold towards the world. There's a lot of healing that had to take place here. So I believe that in this lifetime, some of the reoccurring themes might be of, you know, being separated from somebody who you felt was the one, and learning to not lose yourself in that. And also to continue to step into your healing abilities and your intuitive abilities, and also learning to see the blessing in heartbreak, because there's like a saying, I don't know if I'm going to say it right, but sometimes you have to let your heart, sometimes your heart has to be broken so many times until it's so tender that even the most careless of hands cannot hurt it. And I know that, I hope I'm saying it right, if I'm trying to remember the exact quote, but it was something of like not letting this turn you cold, and learning to keep moving forward, and not letting a heartbreak lead you to throwing everything away, or stepping out of your power, or forgetting who you are and what you are. Yeah, so that's what I see for you here. I believe you probably have a reoccurring theme in this life of coming across possibly soulmate connections, or connections of having to learn how to sometimes let people go, or to continue moving forward and heal yourself, and so you could be that healing presence for others, and not letting yourself go when certain connections go awry. If that makes any kind of sense. I hope this resonated. If you feel called to, I hope you'll like and subscribe. Today has been a weird, crazy day. I'm just going to end this here. But I love you all, and I will see you guys in another reading.